I'm not ashamed to own my Lord, nor to defend his cause. Maintain the honors of his word, the glory of his cross.
Hello, I am James Brown, and on behalf of the Eastern Church of Christ located in Toronto, Canada, I'd like to welcome you to Wednesday's edition of Walking Through the Bible, a podcast where we seek to study the Bible and the Bible alone. Please stick around afterwards for information on how you can contact us. But for now, if you have a Bible with you, please turn to the book of Genesis, and we'll turn you over to Jeremy Dieselkamp for our study of the day.
Thank you, James, and welcome to all of our viewers. This is the 8th lesson in our study of Genesis. Yesterday we covered Genesis chapter 1, verses 14 through 19, discussing the 4th day of creation. If you missed that episode and would like to watch it, you can find it and all of our other podcasts on our website at www.eastonchurch.org. You can also find them on our YouTube channel at www.youtube.com/EastEndChurchOfChrist under the Walking Through the Bible Genesis playlist. Today we're going to begin with Genesis 1 verse 20 and read through verse 23. The text that you'll see on the screen is from the English Standard Version, but you're welcome to follow along with any version that you have. So let's now read Genesis 1 beginning at verse 20. And God said, "Let the waters swarm with swarms of living creatures, and let the birds fly above the earth, across the expanse of the heavens." So God created the sea creatures and every living creature that moves, with which the waters swarm according to their kinds, and every winged bird according to its kind. And God saw that it was good. And God blessed them, saying, "Be fruitful and multiply, and fill the waters in the seas, and let the birds multiply on the earth." And there was evening, and there was morning, the 5th day. This, of course, is the 5th day of creation. On day 1, the universe, earth, and light were created. On day 2, we have the atmosphere created. Then on day 3, we have vegetation created, and on day 4, the sun, moon, and stars were created. Now on day 5, God created all of the fish of the sea, and everything that lives in the sea, and he also created the birds that fly in the air. It is amazing again that people who believe in evolution admit that animal life began in the sea. After all, Genesis 1 verse 20 says it did. Now that's the only place in this section where the Bible agrees with science, because they will have birds coming much later than land animals. But the fact of the matter is, it is not intuitive for a supposedly uninspired man to guess that animal life began in the sea and be right. If someone wanted to create a history for this earth when no physical evidence existed, it would be much more logical for mankind to be created before all of the animals than it is to conclude that fish and birds were created first. Yet that's how Moses describes it. And science has shown that animal life did begin in the seas, something that would have been impossible for Moses to know. Now what about the birds? Could Moses have been wrong here? The answer is no, if the Bible is to be the Word of God. So why does the fossil record show that birds come later? That's because the fossil record is assumed to be complete. You see, I'm fairly certain that scientists will readily admit that we don't have fossils for every animal that ever existed. That means the fossil record is incomplete. While it is true that every animal can leave a fossil, it is only in certain conditions that fossils are actually left. For fossilization to occur, an animal must be buried quickly. It must be kept from normal decay present when oxygen and bacteria are found. And it must be buried in matter that is leached with mineral-rich waters that replace some of the original tissue so that a stone remains in the shape of the original tissue. Since many animals don't die and their remains aren't preserved in these conditions, most animals don't leave fossils behind. With an incomplete fossil record, it is impossible to assume which animals came first. Yes, people who believe in evolution will say that the evidence suggests something, but that's all it is, a suggestion. They weren't there to know for sure, and do you want to know what belief in something you haven't seen based on evidence is? It is faith. Like it or not, science depends on faith just as much, if not even more so, than the Christian does. I will readily admit that I was not there, but when given the choice based on the evidence that this universe was created by blind chance or a designer, All believe it was created by a designer just like everything else that we see today. Before we close, however, I'd like to again note that everything was reproducing after its kind. Again, evolution is denied in this chapter. With the events of the sixth day coming up shortly, we'll deal with what the full consequence of reproducing after their kind is when we get there. With that, our time is up for today. Please join us, the Lord willing, tomorrow when we will continue our study of Genesis, beginning with Genesis 1, verse 24.
Thank you, Jeremy. And to our viewers, we also thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel by clicking on the subscribe button below. Should you have any questions or comments, please leave a comment below or email us at answerintheword@gmail.com. We'll try to respond to you as quickly as we can. We hope you'll join us, the Lord willing, tomorrow when we'll be continuing our study of the book of Genesis. Goodbye for now and have a great day.
I'm not ashamed to own my Lord.